So, welcome to the Uncommon Talks.
Hi, Shalini. Welcome to Uncommon Talks. And it is an absolute pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, moving ahead, please tell us about yourself and your lovely brand, the Lovely Lotus. If I think I'm going to pronounce it, I always want to ask you, please go ahead. Can you please pronounce it so that I don't mispronounce it?
Sure. So yeah, before we start, thank you so much for having me here. And it's an honor to talk about my brand. So yeah, it's pronounced as Kairavam. Kairavam means it's a Sanskrit word and it means a majestic lotus in Sanskrit. So we've come up with this name, trying to bring a link between a lotus flower and what a woman faces every month. If you take a look at a lotus, it grows in a muddy environment amidst all algae, fungus, but still it stalks up and blooms bright into that beautiful flower we see. So, in the same way, a woman, there are lots of myths and taboos around periods, lots of, scary stories or hidden stories, and there's lots going around a woman during her period. But still, she stalks up, shines bright in her own way. So, we wanted to bring that link between, a lotus and a woman and, trying to say that, yeah, we are magnificent.
I think I'd like to commend you, first of all. That analogy is so beautiful and so true and not spoken enough. I think growing up, I mean, I think I'm just going to dive straight into it. I believe you must have felt the same as a woman. I definitely did go through this. Growing up, while we are of a generation that did see a lot of taboos being broken regarding periods, menstrual health in general, and feminine hygiene. We are a part of a generation where we saw mainstream advertisements related to sanitary napkins and all other sorts of conversations coming up in mainstream media, online and offline. But at the same time, I think we are also a part of a generation that saw a lot of myths being told to us, and I think the whole perspective of putting it across as a beautiful time in a woman's life. We initially are told that it is a very dirty time of the month, or you're impure, and there's so many other traditions and so many other myths associated with it. So I'd like to first, like I said, commend you that the storyline, the perspective is so different, so refreshing, and I think it's important to associate that. What made you think of it? What led you to come up with this?
So, yeah, coming to my background, I'm basically a cancer researcher. I'm an Imperial College London alumni, and I've worked on cancer research for the past 6 to 7 years. Um, of that research, ovarian cancer was always fascinating to me because it's something that affects women. And I had lots of family members who are affected by it. And just, reading about it, going through lots of research journals, working on it, um, it brought to me a point where, when we try to understand ovarian cancer, putting apart the genetical causes of it, we know that it's there in the genes. But putting apart the genetics, the major cause of ovarian cancer is the epigenetical part, the lifestyle changes a woman undergoes. The food we eat, the environment we're exposed to. And a major part of it, there was a very recent research showing that lots of women are affected by ovarian cancer because of the plastic nanoparticles that pile up in an ovary. So where are those plastic nanoparticles coming from? From the sanitary napkins we're using every month. So that hit me hard, and I was like, okay, let's work on a prototype where we develop a sanitary napkin which is completely plastic free. So that's how the idea came about. We did a lot of reverse engineering, tested lots of prototypes, and yeah, finally we've very recently launched a Kairavam sanitary napkin.
How long was the research for? How long did the whole back and forth process on testing and making the prototype last for you? When did you begin the journey?
Well, I started it a little before COVID. The idea was there back in my mind for so many years. But that was just basic research, reading about it, just back of my mind thinking how to do it, how to proceed about it. But yeah, it actually started a little before COVID. So that was when I really decided on what raw materials I wanted, how I wanted the sanitary napkin to look like, how it should be, what it should be composed of. That was a pre-COVID research that was done by me. So during the COVID time, I wanted to get all my prototypes done from China because that's where the manufacturing prototypes are generally done. So we wanted to send our raw materials to China, get a prototype, test it, and then back and forth the process till we get the best product. But after COVID hit hard, and all the misconceptions or maybe true conceptions about China, I was like, okay, let's not go into a prototype from China. Why can't we try and do it here in India? We do have a lot of resources. Maybe the search wasn't right. So we started searching for manufacturers, for raw material vendors, and we tried and tested more than 20 prototypes till we finally arrived at the product that we have in hand right now. So yeah, it took me almost 3 to 4 years for the final product to be out.
And I definitely do need to ask this. As we discussed earlier, being a one-man army, you're the one who came up with the idea. You're taking this forward. Were you by default the tester for all your prototypes? Was it coming down to you, or did you reach out to friends and family as well who'd helped you with the testing?
I really reached out to a lot of friends and family, to be honest, because it's my product. I'll anyway like it. So that the answer I get would anyway be biased if it was only me. So yeah, I gave it to a lot of friends, family, lots of colleagues. They tried it. They were like, "No, Shalini, this isn't good. This isn't good." So like after each trial, I had to improve and improve. Because when we're working with natural materials, there's so many things to consider. Like every natural material has a shelf life. Every natural material degrades. So that's exactly what we're looking in our pad. So we had to bring a combination of trying to extend the shelf life a little bit, because I can't just have an inventory of 1,000 pads and just say that the shelf life is 2 months. Before it even reaches the end customer, it might just degrade in the box itself. So yeah, so those were a lot of combinations we had to try and test out. But yeah, hopefully everything went well till now.
So what is the shelf life for for one pad, a Kairavam pad?
So right now the shelf life is 1 year. We can keep it. It's 1 year. Yeah. We're not trying to extend it because we feel 1 year is fine. The thing is, we're not doing a bulk manufacturing right now. It's like manufacturing is just based on the need.
Okay, so it's an order specific manufacturing that you currently working with.
Yes, at least we're giving a gap of 6 months, around 6 months. So we have an inventory which is enough for approximately 3 months, and then every 3 months we're trying to manufacture new sanitary napkins just to increase the shelf life. We just don't want them to be sitting in the shelf and then just before it reaches a customer, we don't want to say that, okay, please use it within 1 month. The best before is 1 month.
Absolutely. That makes sense. I want to move more towards, just menstrual health in general. And you mentioned how in your research, you came across that one of the majority reasons for ovarian cancer was microplastics being found in the uterus and vagina, and basically in making their way towards the ovary. Are these reasons also are these factors also a reason for other major issues that are being found in, like, could you say that in your research have you come across, like, for example, endometriosis or even PCOS for that matter? There hasn't been any mention of these factors, but do you think they can contribute, or did you come across something of this sort in your research?
Let's put the research aside. Like, let's just take personal experience. Let's say you use a Whisper or a Stay Free, or for that matter, any sanitary napkin which isn't, by name organic or biodegradable. Once you use it, I would say more than 90% of the women, the first hand experience they get is period rash.
Right.
I mean, everyone gets it. I mean, irrespective of age, irrespective of brand, um, whatever it is, every woman gets it. And we are conditioned to say that it's normal. It's okay to have a rash. It's
Mm-hmm.
fine. We'll have it for 3 to 4 days. Once our period stops, it will slowly, come down. So, I mean, I guess every girl from the time she starts menstruating, she's been conditioned to think that it's okay to have a rash, which
Mm-hmm.
isn't the case. I mean, these are all superficial, symptoms of something which may be even bigger. We don't know about it. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say, see, period, when you get your menstrual cycle, it's not something you should be so much stressed about. We're already stressing about the pain, we're already stressing about the cramps and everything. Why again superficial rashes? Why some long-term effects such as cancers or toxic shock syndromes, or you know um, you just have a lot of chemicals or chemicals from fragrances leaching into your uterus or your vagina? Why should we still suffer for even those? We're already suffering enough. We already have our mood swings, we already have our cramps, we already have our flow types. Some people have a heavy flow, light flow. We're already dealing with so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that this shouldn't be a reason to stress about. This should be, I mean, something to be considered the least.
Something to at least take off your mind. Like, this isn't, you don't need additional pressure when you've already got your plate full at that point of time.
Yeah, like I don't know if you've seen a Kairavam sanitary napkin box or not, but a Kairavam box has these pads enclosed in envelopes, in
Right.
paper envelopes. So
Mm-hmm.
this is also another thing to not stress about. Like we girls, when we go out, when we're in a public place, you don't have to wrap your used napkin in a newspaper or find a place to dispose it. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to stress about all of those. You can just wrap your napkin properly, place it in the envelope, and throw it in the bin.
But I think that a little goes a long way because, say, for instance, while you're traveling, I mean, your period doesn't ask you if you're traveling, right? If anything, it specifically comes right before a big trip. That's just how it is. That's just how things happen. Um,
Yeah.
so one of the things that can definitely make things easier is, disposing it off, just that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you, as you mentioned, the packaging. I think the packaging is so beautiful. Nobody knows what's inside, so it's a very discreet packaging. Unlike, say, a regular sanitary napkin packet that's like it's banned. It's packaged like a contraband item. I think alcohol is uh, given in a more open way in comparison to a sanitary napkin in India. So that's
Exactly. And
definitely
the shying away concept, like every girl, even though you're working in an IT firm, you're totally literate. I mean, I see lots of girls still hiding a pad under their kurtis, or shying away from. Yeah, I mean that's happening everywhere. So yeah, these are very small things, but I still feel that a lot of women stress about it.
I just had a question that shouldn't we educate male population more about this since the beginning of childhood? Like we do educate girls about the menstruation cycle and the pads and everything else, right, the periods. Shouldn't we educate boys also so the it is a common ground and girls don't feel shy? If the men are
So
educated, they won't make any joke out of it or anything else. They won't tease the girls about the blood or anything when they have their first period.
I mean, yes, that is. I mean, that should be a mandate in every school. I mean, that should be like basic education for everyone, not a male, not a female. I feel that that should be something that should be taught in textbooks, like maybe from grade 4 or grade 5. But considering India, considering the religious differences, the cultural differences, the population as of now, how many people will this reach to? Will this kind of education reach to is a big question. Because apart from my cancer research, apart from Kairavam, I'm also a menstrual health educator as well. And I've gone to so many places, so many rural places. in and around Telangana. Like I come from Hyderabad, so just the villages around me. And whenever I give a talk, forget about the boys, forget about the girls. The mothers of these girls also feel shy to listen to all these talks. So it's so deep rooted in India that for people like us who live in urban cities, who are a little educated, we think this must be something normal. But the girls themselves are shy, the mothers themselves are shy. So it's going to take a lot of work, um, lot of time to bring that kind of revolution within the population.
Shalini, taking that forward, do you think that in the current state that we are in, when looking at mainstream media, movies, shows, of course, the conversation has breached a lot of barriers, and we are definitely talking about it a bit fairly freely as compared to before. Um, but of course, there's always room for more. There's room for improvement, always there. But keeping that in mind, think the kind of education or the kind of stories that are being shared through mainstream media, majorly films, because I think India as a whole, the whole nation watches, like we're an emotional group of individuals, Indians as a whole, and we relate a lot to stories, good storytelling. Um, and do you think movies and shows and etc. have the power to breach that barrier further and are they doing enough? Like we've got a lot of movies. You mentioned menstrual health and being a menstrual health educator yourself. I think there are some mainstream movies, Hindi movies, I would say specifically, that have come out and are talking about sex education or are approaching the topic about menstrual health. But we had Padman and we had a couple of other movies come here and there. Do you think they are presenting the correct story out there, or should we just be happy with whatever they are putting out there?
Are they presenting the correct story? Yes. But at what frequency? I mean, how many people? You've got so many actors, so many actresses, so many, and India is a country where, you take a hero and you give them a godlike image.
Mhm.
Everyone likes Akshay Kumar, everyone likes Salman Khan or Shah Rukh Khan. I mean, audience give them a godlike image. So let's say you're doing 100 films. So why just one film which can educate such a huge population? What frequency are you doing those films? Just because one film came out of the blue, out of so many films released, I don't think that's going to bring a revolutionary change. I think that should improve a lot. Even if you look at TV shows or it's, I just feel that the kind of people who are watching a show which talks so openly about these stigma topics are again the urban population. You
Right.
find all these on Netflix. How many people can afford Netflix? How many people have an internet with a Netflix connection? How many people watch them? So it's again targeting the urban audience. So I mean, I feel than TV shows or all these shows that are currently coming up, movies can have a larger impact provided the frequency, the kind of content, and the kind of acceptance um, the heroes or the heroines take up. I think that's more important.
Definitely. I think I'll agree with you on the frequency without a doubt. Um,
Yeah,
that needs to increase. A one-off is not enough. It will not satiate the requirement for sure.
yeah.
Coming back to the product, and I wanted to know. I mean, there are you. I'm sure you have competitors out there, and what is it for you that you think sets you apart from your competitors? Because there are so many. There are a multiple amount of there are multiple homegrown brands that are coming out in competition with Whisper, Stay Free, etc. What do you have to say to that?
There are a lot of competitors. But one USP that Kairavam has is that it's not only a biodegradable sanitary napkin; it's a compostable sanitary napkin. So nowadays, on all products, there's a lot of greenwashing going on. So there is this difference between something being compostable and something being biodegradable.
Mhm.
So even if a sanitary napkin has a little bit of plastic, it is biodegradable. But what time? How many years does it take? something which degrades in 200 years is also biodegradable. But Mother Earth can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Right. So Kairavam pad is compostable. It's home compostable and industrial compostable as well. You can just dig a pit in your backyard, throw the entire box, and we're sure that within 200 days the box is all out. It's
Oh, wow.
completely decomposed and mixed up with the soil. So we've made sure that the testing, every layer of the sanitary napkin is plant-based. As I said, it has a shelf life. So the degradation rate is also high. So within 200 days, it's completely decomposed. There are a lot of brands out there which say that they are organic, biodegradable, but not all layers of it. They're not 100% compostable. There are remains which still, that you can see. They're not all of them are not home compostable. You can't just put any other brand pad in your home terrace composter or into your composting bin. So a Kairavam pad for sure is compostable, and I think that's our USP.
Just to ask, I mean that's a wonderful thing that it's home compostable. Of course, people who are moving towards that are genuinely concerned about the environment. That's a great plus for them. But do you think, keeping the cultural context in mind, we would be comfortable as a nation, as a whole, like on a larger scale? Do you think individuals will be more comfortable with composting sanitary napkins, just from a cultural standpoint?
So, I mean, we didn't come up with the compostability idea for it to be only home compost, sorry. In general, whenever you dispose a sanitary napkin, you don't know where it's going to end up. It's going to end up in a landfill and it's going to take years for it to decompose. So we're
Right.
trying to solve that problem and giving a guarantee that yes, it does. I mean, it just goes away within 3 months. I personally, even if I have my own composter bin, I wouldn't put 10 to 12 sanitary napkins every month in the composter bin. It
Right.
will compost, but the size, and no one wants to compost their own menstrual waste.
Yes.
But it is home compostable as well. I mean, that is just to show the degree of composting the pad
Um,
has.
it's something, if you choose to do, it's an option that's available if you want to go there that way. So it's just an added thing.
Yes.
That's nice. That's nice. So where from here, now that you've started with the product and Kairavam pads are available, um, shipping across India, is it just India specific or worldwide, or are you just focusing on India right now?
Right now, it's only India. We haven't thought about worldwide shipping yet
Okay.
because we've just very recently launched. We're sticking to India right now. So the brand is based out of Hyderabad, and we partnered with a couple of logistic companies, and yeah, we're doing a nationwide shipping.
For Kairavam, what is your vision for the brand? Where do you want to take it from here on?
Yeah, so Kairavam as a brand idea, the first product is a sanitary napkin. But as a whole, our long-term goal is to bring out products whichever are good for the wellness of the womb. That's our concept. We're trying to improve the wellness of the womb. So the products we have right now in pipeline are panty liners, and then, sanitary napkins after delivery for pregnant women,
Okay.
and we have bamboo intimate wear.
Mm-hmm.
And we are working with a research company in providing, um, you know, some lozenges and gummies to improve the iron levels in menstruating women, the biotin levels, the B12 levels. So right now, that is still under progress. Maybe 1 year down the line, we might release them. But we're trying to get an FDA approval for all of these.
That's really nice. So you've got big plans and you're headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
That's really nice. That's a very nice approach. I think. I mean, what caught my ear was the bamboo intimate wear, because I know the benefits of bamboo intimate wear. I mean, it's not something that's marketed enough.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people would know about what bamboo cloth I mean, I don't think a lot of people are aware of what bamboo cloth can do for you as well.
There are a lot of brands which have already come up in this segment as well. But again, when it comes to intimate wear, a lot of people expect the elasticity of the material and the comfort. So again, bamboo is mixed up with a little bit of spandex, which
Yeah.
again is it's not a sustainable material. So we're trying to sort that thing out and trying to be very specific about you lose your intimate wear somewhere, it's gone into the soil and decompose as well.
You don't have to worry about it causing any harm to Mother Earth. I think that's a very important thing, and we need to start thinking about it consciously as a whole.
Yeah. So I mean that's how we're targeting the audience for Kairavam as well. We don't want to attract a huge population group or something. We're trying to figure out just that set of individuals who are really conscious about themselves, conscious about the environment. It's not like you buy a Kairavam pad and then you start drinking water in a plastic water bottle.
Yeah.
Or you just carry you go and ask for a plastic bag. So we're trying to target an audience who is very specific about protecting Mother Earth, conscious buying. Um, I mean, someone who's very specific. So that's our target audience as well.
I think for the environmentally conscious, this would be the right way. I mean, I'm sure they would have already thought about it, but wouldn't have come across a product that would be satisfying.
For our generation, everyone's on Insta, and they
Yeah.
just start using maybe a paper cup or a paper bag, and they put it up. But they again go home, start using plastic water bottles, or I mean, very small things that still don't change. So,
Yeah.
I mean, looking for a group of individuals who are, conscious about every single step in their life. Like from the time you open your eyes in the morning till you sleep, every single thing they do should be very consciously, done. So that's the kind of audience I'm trying to target right now.
That makes a lot of sense. What would you like to tell people out there on the occasion of this Women's Day?
From the perspective of being a founder of Kairavam, I would say let's start being conscious, not about Mother Earth alone. I know that being conscious about ourselves is way more important, first thing. Let's be conscious about our bodies. Let's take care of them. Let's avoid plastic as much as we can. Um, Avoiding plastic is not just a plastic bag or something. Plastic nanoparticles are there everywhere, everywhere. The water is already leached. The vegetables are already leached with plastic. So let's try and make a conscious switch. Um, the girls, the women out there, let's start the switch with sanitary napkins, which are, in direct contact with our skin every month. And for all the men out there, let's start conscious gifting. Valentine's Day is not about red roses, red heart pillows, or not all of those. Consciously gift, your loved ones with a box of Kairavam pads. We're going to have a lot of nice goodies coming up, which can soothe the mood of a girl during her period. Maybe some nice essential oils, or maybe some nice bath salts, or bamboo intimate wear. So, guys, I think the gifting should also be thought about, should be consciously made, and yeah, I would say start try making a switch to conscious sanitary napkins right away. Um, I mean, I'll put up an offer code on Uncommon Talks, or for your team. All of you guys try, make that switch, stick to it, and see how Mother Earth and you bloom.
A very nice message indeed. We definitely would recommend everyone to try out Kairavam and see how different it feels. Something that's good for your body and good for your soul, and definitely good for Mother Earth, of course. Um,
And along with this, Kairavam also has, monthly women circles going on. We host them. We have a monthly circle that is done offline and online as well. That's where, we have a lot of women just come together, openly speak their heart out regarding all their menstrual, issues or general issues. Um, and as I said, Kairavam mainly deals with the wellness of the womb. We try to, have a woman's circle where we use a lot of herbs for healing, a lot of crystals for healing. It's like a holistic healing, get together for all the women out there.
That's
We
fine.
will be having online sessions as well. These healing sessions are so good because you feel that feminine power. When all the women come together, openly talk about their issues, their health with no restrictions. It's a nice place to be in. So please follow Thairavam's Insta page for these upcoming women circles. We do have talks by lots of gynecologists regarding lots of issues. Like March this month is endometriosis month, so we do
Okay.
have a lot of gynec talks coming up on our page where they give you full on information about endometriosis, the symptoms, the recovery, the treatment options available. So I think it's a nice platform to interact, to open up, to understand your bodies, to be in a very rhythmic way with Mother Nature.
Indeed, I will definitely be talking about this in more detail because I've got a lot that I'd like to talk to you about. I'm looking forward to our next chat. But this was very nice. I really had a good time talking to you, and I think there was a lot more information that I gained from this than I expected. So, thank you so much for that, Shalini. And for I would like to thank you on behalf of future users of Cairo and existing users. Thank you for bringing a product like this for us out there because not everyone is thinking on the same lines, and I'm glad that you did. So, thank you so
Yeah.
much.